All right, welcome to another episode of Comics That Influence. I'm not going
Hello.
to tell you the episode number. I'm not going to tell you the episode number because we had a intermission or an insertion video, which was
Ooh.
our the Jan Strad, which kind of threw us off. So the last couple of episodes, I've been talking, opening up with like, "Hey, welcome to episode 54," and it's actually 55. You know,
Yeah.
and
You
so
know,
I'm not doing that
that
anymore. I'm
Jen
just gonna
Scott,
let it
Jen
roll.
Stronad, interview was great. And same thing on
Yeah.
Substack. But it does kind of mess up the flow because we have all this sci-fi writing that we give away on our Doom Mags Substack. But
Nice.
we have to flag that two-part Jan Stronad interview, and we have to say special interview so that because
Oh, we could edit that. Yeah, we could edit that.
yeah, and I think it got a lot of hits because every time I
Oh
put
yeah.
in Doom Mags in Google now, all I see is John
Yeah.
Stannard's big face come up.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah, baby. That's called SEO, baby. That's by design.
SEO
And
supervisor.
just before we really kick off what we're going to be yammering about, of course, Jake and I do the Making a Turbo Pitfighter, which is a post-apocalyptic romance story. Going to take place in 6 issues. The first 12 pages is in this fantastic limited edition
Teaser.
teaser. And now you can get a copy on kurtbrugel.com as a PDF download if you so choose. So you have $3 plus shipping to get a physical copy, or $3 just for a PDF, which is a scan of my version of the teaser. But with that being said, and also we want to start getting people excited about the Indie Comics Creator Con, also referred to as IC3, March 5th, 2025, on Saturday, 10 to 6 at the Southern Connecticut State University. Indie Comics Creator Con.com. So with that being said, Jake, woo, I'm excited today.
Yeah, so
Just excited.
this is Comics That Influence, where we do flip throughs of comics that we love and that we carefully curate and select. Or, in my case, I'm going to open up a 10-pack that I got at the mall and see what's in there for good or ill. So I'm just disclaimering my segment. But Kurt's going to go first today. And I see we got some Charlton, and I see we have some of these oft sought after Barbarian comics. I think I have one of, but give us the skinny. What do you got?
So, episode 50 of Comics That Influence, which I think will come out, yeah, it should come out as, episode 50. I had a haul from mycomicshop.com that I had pulled the trigger on, which was the last time I bought comics, just because I feel like I have too many at this point, and I need to put them on and review them on Comics and Influence. So I picked 2 of them out because these were 2 of the ones I did make comments that I wanted to speak to about that. But I will start with Barbarian Comics, which I am the project leader for Krom the Barbarian, a Krom collection, and a Krom Anthology that's in the works and coming forward. This is my inaugural publication, which is 140 pages of black and white sword and sorcery goodness, and for anybody that wants to jump in and have a good time and also get involved with Krom the Barbarian here. So I'm deeply immersed in all that obscure Conan the Barbarian stuff. I love some sort of Conan. I love Conan the Barbarian. Yes, 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 yes. But I love this peripheral stuff. And this one, I got issues 1 through 3. Issue 4, which is the last one in this series, is expensive. I just checked yesterday, and because I was like, I should complete my collection, and it's like over $20, and
What?
that's a bit steep for
No.
me. So I got to just wait for that to come around the corner at, definitely under my $10 for something that I have to have and I do really, really need, as I tell my wife. But these came out in the early 70s, 74 as a matter of fact, The art and the stories in this anthology are bonkers. I mean, this illustration right here by a gentleman by the name of Hal Han is absolutely amazing in like just the graphic sense of it. You know what I mean? I mean, obviously she's naked. Obviously she's a big girl, you know, a muscular girl. She's either beating all these people to death or she's coming to save someone. But we don't know yet. Or I don't even know if we find out anything because I don't believe it's actually put into thing. But you know, the two things I really want to stress about both of these books is the power of the anthology, and we're looking to get a turbo anthology together, and we're working with Alex Turbin, and he's got a funk anthology in the anthology that's coming together and everything, and we will be contributing 2 pages to that down the line. But the magic about an anthology is like, you know, back in the day, you could get this for, I don't know, buck something, 50 cents.
Yeah.
Adults only, 50 cents a copy. But you would get, I think there's 4 stories in here. You might like 2 of the 4 stories, one of the 4 stories, all of the 4 stories. But you were getting something for your money. So many times these comics are being put out and you're paying $5 now and hearing people complain for a 17-ish, 20 at best, full color comic indie, rather than 5-10 pages of advertising of other things coming through the publisher. And it's a letdown. And then you're just heartbroken that you've lost that money and that time and you know what's going on. So I'm really, really towing the line for, you know, supporting anthologies, finding anthologies, especially these old ones. But when you look at this, Jake, who's the first person you think of when you see this comic?
Hal Foster.
And
Well, I can't see so good from there, but it look.
uh,
I mean, it looks like stand. I mean, I first of all, okay, I love the gray. I love the toned paper. So you're talking about like the early '70s here, right?
right.
Okay. Um. Yeah, I see like the whole like Val Myrick style, who is templated on Frazetta, and
There you go.
you know, I mean,
I just wanted you to say Frazetta because Frazetta in the mid 70s is just it's a hot if you can look close to Frazetta, you're gonna get somebody to grab your work, and I think the bigger part of it is the topless babes, the curvaceous babes. This is like this is John Williams. You know, once again, don't know him. You know, as any kind of remembrance of having done anything else, but it's just what 4 pages. This fantastic.
well, who puts this out? What's the company? Because this is
It's called Underground Comics
right.
with an
So there's a
X.
company, right? Because this is a proper underground comic, and
It's literally an underground comic.
right, it's literally an underground comic, and the company is called Underground Comics. There's also some kind of imprint called California Comics. Um,
Oh, wait a second. Maybe this is California Comics. Let me double check. I might have misspoke. Go ahead, keep
uh
going.
huh.
Yeah, it is. It is California Comics. I'm sorry.
So this is real indie.
This is
Like this could have easily been put out
this
by
is Head Shop.
right. This head shop stuff, paraphernalia store stuff. This could have been put out very easily by Rip Off or Last Gasp or one of those guys, but it looks like a complete independent thing. You're talking about issue number what right there?
3,
Okay, issue number 3. And do we know how many issues came out?
4. I just went through that I need to get 4, but it's over $20 right
Oh,
now.
you have 1, 2, and 3 already?
I got 1, 2, and 3. I just this I love the cover on this and the art, and there were some things I wanted to speak to in the way that this anthology was laid out.
Okay. Yeah, I see that you can pick up number 2 for $12.99. That's pretty reasonable. But there was also Barbarian Women comics that look like they
Yeah,
co-opted the masthead, and that was S. Clay Wilson and Trina Robbins.
yeah.
So
Yep.
I don't know if that was before or after, but they're just, we love undergrounds here. So
Yep.
there's a lot of,
More than anything
yeah,
else
there's a lot
for
there. I
me.
mean, look at that page. Look at that page. So right here, you're seeing like, some real text heavy stuff. Then you're seeing, kind of like the zine idea where you're mixing prose and artwork, right? That looks like maybe like a portfolio plate. It's like a Balrog character, right? Good stuff there. And it's not the most valuable collectible, but in terms of indie, black and white indie comics, sword and sorcery, creative stuff. This is, right up our alley. I don't know what else.
Oh wow, this is actually oh, that's really strange how they broke that up.
Yeah,
So this was
kind of interrupted.
wow, that's a splash. No, it's a splash.
Right. Oh, but it's part of the
Because there's the
story.
demon. Here's the demon. Yeah, yeah.
Gotcha.
But
Yeah, there's no rules, right? If that would have been a big company, they said, "What are you doing? You can't be so creative as to put a splash page there with a
yeah,
banner at the bottom." That's a
yeah.
heresy.
You're not allowed to confuse anybody.
That's not the house style here. Not as long as I'm in charge with my starch collared tie here. But yeah, do proceed.
Yeah, I Arthur Soydom is another one that comes to mind.
Yeah,
There all these individuals that were imprinting off of Mike Hoffman. Imprinting off. I actually lived a little bit in the world of aping the Frazetta style and everything. There's so much you can learn by copying other artists. And style, I think, is something you want to kind of steer clear of if you are going to stop copy them. I'm planning on doing some copying of this work for my CROM Anthology as I move along, but it's because I love the way it's paced out, the way panels are broken, and it's just really big. It is very word heavy. So even going back, I might even have a version where I'll decrease some of this purplest of prose, and kind of push things through and stuff. But it's a study. I mean, like this is something I would love to do a more in-depth sketch or look into, which is just this panel. There's so many of these panels that could just be, a pinup. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And it's something I just find to be very engaging, connecting. Um, what was the other? Oh yeah, these two panels here had that same kind of feeling, like they just held like a Frazetta painting feeling just into this nice thing. So you get bang. I mean, for 50 cents at this point, if I bought this comic, I'd be like, okay, thank you, sir. Can I have more? And of course you can. And I brought this up. One of the reasons I had to get these is Will Mineo, who we've often have discussed his work in the past. Vanity was a comic you had two-issue Vanity Pacific Comics you reviewed, Jake, a couple episodes back. He did his own CROM. I hunted him down. He is retired. I asked him if I could reprint.
Whoa!
He said
Look at that.
he said no. He said no, sir, because I want to reprint it and I want to expand upon this work. So he did this back in '74, and there's three pieces to it,
Huh?
and
Look at
it is
that.
very bonkers. It is very bonkers in its like wholeness, but it is like so true to the way I feel about Krom the Barbarian and the ability of distorting time, time settings, relevance of like should somebody in a savage sword and sorcery world have access to guns? He plays around with a lot of this stuff,
Yeah.
um, and characters. So it's really just a very 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 bonkers kind of thing, and so well done. Both of these stories, this one more than this one, it's totally aping Barry Windsor Smith's Conan
Okay.
the Barbarian.
Right.
Yeah, the original comic book creator of sword and sorcery in comics. He's not the first. He just is the. Everybody can go back to him, and say
Well, he
like
was the
that's
young,
a sword and sorcery
yes,
comic.
the young, talented artist who had a lot of room to grow, that was in the right place at the right time, got the green light from Roy Thomas, who was spearheading the push to get Conan into comics. And, there had been some fits and starts, and there had been, obviously, Krom had been in the comics before, but yeah. There's the Holy Grail, Conan #1, 1970 or 69, yeah.
Right. So, if there was a list that we would start, Jake, on us doing another interview like we did with Jan Strnad, it would be Will Mineo. In other words, we would kind of go through some Will Mineo
Yeah.
comics, plot out all of our questions, and then like I said, I have contact information for him and see if he would give us the same treatment in response, and then we could have a Substack to do that. So that'll be something coming in 2025, possibly. I don't want to overload us and say all these things are going to be coming in 2025 and
We're
we can't
definitely
follow
going to be
through
reaching
because
out.
we're only
We'll
Sundays.
update.
We're only Sundays here,
Yeah,
people.
we can try to reach out. We can't guarantee anything. We'll update
Yeah.
folks, but these are the people we're intrigued by, and we'd love to get the story in their words, and for them to set the record straight, because there's so much that we end up getting wrong just from the outside.
Yes, yes, yeah. So the one of the points I want to also make about buying a indie comic, an anthology comic, and I kind this to heavy metal and what it's done to me repeatedly over time. In other words, having certain issues of heavy metal and only wanting to see the Mobius stuff or an Arthur Soydom stuff, all the things that were just really like, hell yeah, that's what I want to see. But then going back to an issue and then seeing like a 2-pager in there that's like very European, it's very artsy fartsy, and now being in my late 50s, wow, this is really good. Like, how did I miss this when I was 23? It's because you weren't looking for it.
Yeah.
And I like this. And so to have a comic book called, just a reminder, Barbarian Comics, and then inject it with something that doesn't look like this,
Yeah.
or this, I find that there's a powerful mechanism in there, and it could create a conversion for somebody. They could convert to, or a better word than convert is let themselves go about this is only sword and sorcery barbarian comics. Like this thing in this box, this is not. So why is it here? Well, read it and find out what the whole biker gang. I don't want to spoil it because let's see somebody go about and get this and then deny that it doesn't have a barbaric feel to it, but also is really pushing the theme for the anthology. So I really, really admire that.
Yeah, the barbarians live on today, and I think we need to expand this search into barbarian women comics, which are by some other well-known underground creators.
Sure,
Yeah, I mean,
sure.
it's not like I'll turn my nose down if I see any of this stuff in the bins, but
Yeah.
paying $10-$20 for it also is a possibility. That's pretty much what undergrounds are worth nowadays if they're in good shape.
And by the way, I don't know if I told you, but I did see the Bike Riders,
Oh
the
God,
movie. So that'll have to be discussed more. And you were right; it was absolutely
yeah,
phenomenal.
great movie.
So and then there's this reveal. I love this kind of stuff. This is also one of the things I find in let's say 70s, early 80s anthology indies. You give me that Twilight Zone, O. Henry endings. I love them. I'm just a mark for them and everything. So, and then here we go. We've got space. You know what I mean? Now, this has nothing to do with barbarians, people. This is not barbarians. Why are you doing this? And
Because it's
again,
underground comics, and you can do whatever the
it's
hell you.
I'm like I said, I'm not spoiling the stories because I don't want to take away from somebody who is out there, mining, finding things to get a hold of. Because yeah, there's an investment when you're paying more than $10 on a comic book, or even around $10 a comic book. So you do want to use these videos as a kind of like, do I really want to buy that? Do I really need that? And I'm saying you need it. Especially if you're an artist, and you're struggling with some nuancing things, especially in smaller short storytelling. I would say these comics are phenomenal in lessons. But yeah, and then I just spoiled it. But then here's this is another. Yeah, I'm trying to inject this also into CROM Anthology, is something that has a sense of humor. Now, I don't like the dumb humor. Like, I'm not a big, like, oh, that's funny because he made, Conan dumb. What's this Krom?
Yeah.
That's Patrick the Barbarian. But at the same time, it does kind of break things up. It kind of makes you giggle. You're getting for 50 cents an entire set of entertainment, for however long, 20 minutes maybe it takes you to read a comic,
Yeah.
10, I don't know, 30. But a one pager, and you go and you move on. And then here, this is another big thing, just a nice, sweet Richard Corbin pinup, babies.
Wow.
Richard Corbin. Yeah, pen and ink. That's it. No zips.
Struggling.
Pen and ink. So, got another one here. Don't know who Polo is, but this could have just been a friend of a friend who was in school, or you know what I mean. And then they got, yeah, man, I did this drawing. All right, man, I'll publish it. Oh, cool, man. All right, and then boom, and annuals of time. I love this kind of stuff too when it comes to sword and sorcery, the shield and the weapons behind it. Really nice. As sparse as that is for the back, very iconic.
Nice stuff. So what's this other Charlton piece we have here? The Many Ghosts of Dr.
So,
Graves.
yeah. Now, you also made the comment that this was, and I also wanted to, this was a vehicle for Steve Ditko. Steve Ditko reprints or Steve Ditko original stuff. So they mostly started off with a Steve Ditko. Dr. Graves is a horror host categorically, so he would be like, for what was it? I don't know, well, Elvira was.
Yeah, like he introduces
the creepy, yeah, and then kind of even gives you a moral,
right.
To the story. Ditko, or not all the stories kind of hold to it, but thematically it is fun. The last story in this is the story I was actually after to buy the comic book. But to get Steve Ditko, like right here, I mean, it's just, it's great. You just don't lose in Ditko worlds. You just can't. And the storytelling is so damn solid. Even in the silliest of stories, you can't deny him just how much of a auteur he was. I mean, just like that, I love that kind of crap. You know what I mean? Just make a little bone shape on, you know what I mean? Like, this guy was just really thinking, even if he was hammering out this whole thing in 2 days, you know what I mean, to get the page rate for it, because he was a consummate businessman. He was doing this for the business.
Yeah.
Exploring and finding other artists and artist styles in these books are great. I love the paneling back then and pacing in stories, and this, I call it the 6 5x5 panel gridding, but then obviously smaller, then join it together. This is actually 2. You don't have the gutter there. Love this stuff. Great reminder stuff. The ads are also fun too. I never get sick of seeing the corny ads.
Well,
but the story I'm after, and once again for the Conan, like the CROM Anthology, whether it's number 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, as I'll be working on them, is this is one of those sword and sorcery stories that rings true to me as how I feel about the genre of sword and sorcery. So you do get Dr. Graves, and he's giving us the I submit this tale called The Enchanted Man.
Right.
Um, and it's a Pat Boyette, so it's a Pat Boyette story and art, who's one of my favorites. And he does do a lot of sword and sorcery, medieval, magical, adjacent comic stories that I'm collecting right now. But this character is just so kooky, like the way his hairstyle, like the design of him. But I love it. Like I'm like, why wouldn't he look unlike
Bring
us?
that up. Bring that
Um,
up close for a sec. Okay.
cool.
Yeah.
I just love that character design. But a
Mm.
total, dumbass
Like
barbarian,
earful.
blockheaded.
Yeah.
Um, the thing about he has the wizard buddy who's more of a pain in the ass than a Merlin type, if you will.
Cool.
The spoiler is that the gods have left the planet, and the gods are basically some alien race that has. Ooh, am I out of focus still?
At how we so that
Ah, all right, it's
there
back.
you go.
All right, so the gods have left the planet. We don't know if they're human or like an Earth-based, or some other aliens. There is some like genetically altered. It's because this character here is called Endiku, which is like the Anarchy, and that whole idea of these aliens coming and mining gold, and they didn't want to do it themselves, so they genetically modified primates to become basically then the predecessors to us and everything. But the story, that is one element that I love being in my sword and sorcery. So check one. Check two. Check one is the lead male barbarian is strange. I'll just strange or weird. Like there's an oddity to the character. So the character design is like the bonus, but this character, like I said, he's a bit of adult, and he thinks he's the shit and kind of moves along and everything. And so there's this thing that he has to go and destroy, because he feels like it's this, and this robot mechanically has been left behind to guard something, and um, this guy, what is his name? I forget his name.
This is yeah. So was this a reprint or was this originally done for Charlton?
This is it. This is it. This is where it lives. So he ends up killing the the android. Well, no, he doesn't actually. It's a lightning bolt from the heavens, comes down, and then it's here and everything. But like the last line, the time is now, the rain has begun, and the waters will wash away this absurdity. And that's what this Merlin wizard's kind of saying about it, about the whole thing. Um, you know, that's like check three. Like this whole I love I love unreality. I love absurdity. I like escapism. So, but I love it being connected to, some earth, the earthy feeling part of that and everything. So this is another story that I want to kind of work off of. And Pat Boyette has dozens of these types of stories that I want to kind of bring back into uh, the public awareness, whether there is a reprint value, or there's me just sort of mimicking echoing some of these tropey things in my own stories and stuff. When I came across this comic though online, and I was developing my version of CROM, I was playing with this design, to be totally honest with you. And when I go to IC3, I'm going to be bringing my Krom the Barbarian banner, which is my original design for him, and you'll see some of these things that are very similar. But I will say that design, the majority of it was won out by Joe Kubert's The Viking Prince. Um, so, that's what I have in just the two comics. Like I said, the whole idea of, kind of spending your money physically on anthology is really what I'm bellowing about. And, support said anthologies, especially if it is you're looking for something new to get hooked to. But that's what I got, Jake.
Yeah, so that was 1967 that book comes out. Uh, Many Ghosts of Dr. Graves.
75.
Hello. Oh,
This is 74.
oh, that was
Yeah, are you
75.
there?
Right. So believe it or not, yeah, believe it or not, the Many Ghosts of Dr. Graves ran from 1967 to 1982. And I don't know if that was continuous throughout.
Yeah, it's
Can you
it's
hear
one
me
of their
okay, Kurt?
longest.
Yeah.
Yeah, can you
Yeah,
hear me?
so yeah, I was trying to open a page and it was kind of tricky, so I closed it. So yeah, it looks like very continuous, I guess, outlet for horror anthologies and just having Dr. Graves introduce it
Strange and bizarre.
on the first and last panel just gets you there. Um, but love to hear more about like Pat Boyette and people like him because the
Yes.
stuff that they end up doing over a lifetime. It's how you get turned on to stuff that you miss. Like I'm looking here. If you just plug him in, um, there's something that the Lost Jungle Tales featuring Catgirl, unpublished art by Pat Boyette,
Yeah.
Paul Kupperberg and Joe Gill, comes out 2019. What the hell is that? I gotta pick this thing up. It's only $9.99. So I love doing this show with you, man. I always come across something cool, and especially if it's marked down. That's my price range, dude. Um, yeah, Pat Boyette.
$10 marker.
Yeah, he worked for Charlton. He did the $6 Million Man in the '70s. He worked on. I see he's being. I don't know if this is just
We
being
created the Peacemaker.
right. The
That's his
Peacemaker.
biggest claim to fame. That's his big claim to fame is the Peacemaker.
Right, but he also has a paperback out called The Nightstand Chillers by
Yeah, I
Pat.
have. I actually just bought that.
Oh, with
I
the
just bought a copy of that.
intro by Alex Toth, and so that
Yep.
sounds like it's going to be a collection of his Charlton anthology submissions, right?
Yeah, it's got mixed reviews, but I think a lot of the people were expecting something else, and then when they got a hold of it, they were like, "The fuck?" And I think when I get a hold of it, I'm going to be like, "Yeah, love this stuff." So
Right.
because I can look at him, he's one of those few artists I can look at his work all day long and never get tired of it. And I've actually found this painting, this cover painting, on Comic Arts Fan, and I've actually contacted the owner to see if they would sell it because I would love to own that painting. I just
Yeah,
want to find out how much he would
well,
sell it for. Hasn't gotten back to me yet, so.
doesn't hurt to ask. Doesn't hurt
But
to
I
ask.
might make my own version.
Yeah.
That's something I might actually do is make my own version of this.
Right. Well, it's if you're coming out of left field, you never know. Somebody might say something cool. All right. Well, thanks for that intriguing deep dive into Barbarian comics. We want to see those anytime we can. I think I'm gonna have to cut. I think I'm gonna have to cut my way into here. Um, what I've got for us today is I visited my local comic shop, and I bought 3 things. I still have like $130 left on a $200 gift
Good
card
Lord.
that I got like years ago. I bought this for $9.99, which we'll be reviewing in a future episode, for ill or good. But I bought these bundles. Now, I took me a long time to flip through the racks, and I took some photos to show Kurt about different things I'm seeing and my observations about the biz, my lamentations about the biz, and what's going on with this. Like, it just seems like nonstop scams, like variant covers and number ones, and all of this just like bait that just gets people to buy comics that are and pay more for them, like $15 for a comic just because it's a rare cover. The people are just trying to invent rarity, and I don't know, you're not supposed to do that. Like, the rarity is supposed to come from from the aftermarket, you would think, and you would hope. So I think that all of this, we're in this kind of like publisher slash speculator, combining, and I don't like it. But I go to the comic store just to torture myself and to torture Kurt. But I have to say, when I came back last time, I was very pleasantly surprised. I'm gonna do this stack first because this was labeled Indie 18 plus grab bag. And that was this stack here. So let's see what is.
Jake.
Yeah.
So one of the things in your last Newberry Comics haul,
Yeah.
which by the way we are not sponsored by Newberry Comics, is that you also got doubles, not of the same cover though, and that was the thing that really pissed you off. So I'm gonna wait and see. Because I was saying sucker.
Right.
So,
well, the last time I did that, like, when you can only see the top and the bottom comic, you don't have a
yeah,
lot to go on. But at least when
no,
I bought those grab bags, I think I bought 2 or 3 that time.
dude.
At least there was 1 or 2 comics that I actually wanted, or that I actually was curious about. Here, I didn't even find, like, these were the things on the cover, and I'm like, this is all right, but it's just not my thing. It looks like a jazz comic. This, I don't know what it is. 2 redhead guys. So let's see. Let's just dive in, and I'm going to be very harsh if I need to, but I'm looking here. These guys are like connected with some kind of brain thing. So this is called Vinyl. Cool name. Writer Doug Wagner. Artist Daniel Hillier. This is Image Comics, and I don't like it. So let me open up. Let me open up my double page spread so we can see what we're doing. Like, seriously, what are we doing when we have, why do we need to have also, like, literally this is a half a page of wasted space on nothing. Like, you could have put the credits here or something. Okay. And it's these artists with the style, and it's a bunch of people sitting around. There's twins. I'm not into this. Let's see, they got Jason masks. Here's some gore. It's real little on the page. Why wasn't this a splash panel? I don't understand. You're going to get us from here to here, and then you're not going to have a splash panel? This is the guy's getting his guts ripped open. Okay, now we have a splash panel of this guy. Look, what the
Whole page of the back of somebody.
A whole page of a back of some guy. And
who's
then
also the same values other than his forearms of the background.
Right, now here we're getting some bloody, gory action, but you know what? I don't even want to waste time.
Don't waste. Come on.
All right.
Come on. It's got to be something good in there.
So here we go. Jules Verne's Lighthouse. Now that's a name you know.
There you go.
I like the title graphics with this sci-fi chick with a gun, and there's like a guy in a mecha suit right behind her. I don't know what's going on here. So this is number 4, Jules Verne's Lighthouse. Is this a public domain piece?
Most definitely.
production, story David Hine and Brian Haberlin. So there's two people in on the story. This says this is Image Comics, but you get all of these little sub studio things here. So this is Shadowline Production. What does that mean? For Anomaly Productions and Image Comics presents. So this is a lot of different production houses here. What that probably means is that this is a collective that they all, put in their shares with, and they're putting in their fortunes together. Um, and they're bringing this off. Shadowline Production. This might be the Image imprint run by these guys. You got Jim Valentino here, Mark Lombardi, communications editor. So these might be the people that greenlit it. Just guessing here. Maybe somebody can fill us in that knows better. But art by Brian Haberlin, and I like the art. It's good. It's
It's
kind
nice. It's
of
nice.
cartoony. It's a little bit like Photoshoppy.
Yeah.
A little bit space wasting here, but this has a much better flow, at least, right? Here we're seeing this creature in the depths of the cave. So yeah, I'm really
The white highlights are really done well. Like go back one more page, third panel down on the right,
this,
on
yeah,
the back of her cheek. That is so
yeah,
masterfully done.
like Corgan.
So masterfully done. Oh, I would have just darkened the eyeballs just a little bit to put it a little bit in shadow. And that's just me, like right half of that
Yeah.
eyeball. But I'm telling you, man, whoever this colorist is,
Well, the colorist is Jairod Van Dyke. Jairod,
okay. Two
Guy.
thumbs up to me for me.
Yeah, so this has a good feel to it, like you're in a cave. The color palette is pretty uniform. I'm really curious though because you got the Jules Verne credit here. So, if this is what I think it is, which is let's take a Jules Verne story and we'll make a modern Image comic out of it, then I love that idea.
I think it's exactly that.
Here's a nice look at this gun, which they probably use some kind of 3D modeling program for a little help. They have like, look, flying scooters. This is interesting. I might bookmark this for my research.
Jules Verne's Lighthouse was published in 1905, so that shit's definitely
Right.
in the
And
in
did
the
it have
public
robots
domain.
and flying scooters?
I don't know. I'm just doing that's called no. Oh,
Well,
there
you
was
got.
another adaptation done in 1971 called "The Light at the Edge of the World." It's an actual movie.
Oh wow.
Wow, dude, it has Yul Brenner in it. And,
Okay.
wow, I'm gonna check this out. I'll flash something up on there.
So I don't
Kirk
know.
Douglas, Yul Brenner, and Samantha Egger.
Okay.
Wow, dude, this looks. I've never heard this before. This looks freaking
See how we
awesome. So
find.
this is a. Oh my God, Jake, this thing is. Holy shit! You just
You
hit
found
the.
a lost treasure.
Oh my lord, yeah.
Well, this comic looks pretty good. This is issue number 4. I don't know how many they
Wow,
make of this, but looks like it's high quality, well
wow,
conceived, good designs, good
yeah.
designs of the
And this
machinery.
is Image.
Yeah, well, it's Image, but it's also Anomaly Productions, which is what this
Oh,
stands
okay,
for, and it's also
okay.
Shadowline Productions. So I think these might be like, if I had to guess, I would say like Jim Valentino, Darkman, like one of these people here, Melanie Hackett, they have the ability to greenlight things, and then it becomes theirs for, you know,
Jim Valentino.
yeah, yeah.
He's an Image boy. He's an
He
Image boy.
was one of the originals, yeah,
Yeah.
OG. And
Okay.
so, this looks great. I don't know how faithful this is to the Jules Verne. That's exciting. I don't like this smiley face. To me, this cheapens it. Like, better off just leave that as an orb. But here you can see, like, some really thoughtful, detailed robotics. I have a feeling that they're using like this lighting is very photoreal in some places.
It's
So I have a
amazing.
feeling that
Yeah.
they might be using like 3D modeling software for some of these designs.
Good point.
This looks like a pretty decent comic. I mean, what I definitely want to check out is that B movie that you're talking about.
Oh, me
Here,
too.
Here's Jules Verne's Lighthouse. They're plugging next issue, issue number 5. Only 2 covers, so not too bad, I guess. But Shadowline, right? So this is the Mark Silvestri. Think of what was his character, Space Hawk or Silver Hawk or something, that he got off the ground like 30 years ago, and now he's a now he's one of the kingmakers at Image that can greenlight these teams of people. Here's some ads. A thing called Truth. This is a 2-page preview, whatever that is, and then on the back, Hellcop this October, also by Haberlin Van Dyke. And I don't know. This looks like they're jumping in with the sci-fi stuff here, a little steampunk maybe. All right, so I don't know. Maybe I'll give that a 6 out of 10 on my curiosity factor scale. I'm gonna make 2 piles up above me right here. One is the good pile, and the other one's the you know what. So here, another Image comic, Guillaume March. I'm immediately struck by a kind of like the Milo Manara face looks like, but I don't know if I'm. Oh wow! Look at this. So story and art by Guillaume March, and Image Comics 2021. This is a one-man job here. Guillaume March. There's a color
What?
assistant and a translator. So it sounds like this is
Oh.
brought over from, I want to guess, Europe. Right here, this posture reminds me of Aeon Flux. There's a lady here where it's like these are like kind of see-through people with, you can see their guts on their skeletons and stuff. Um, a lot of talking going on here. There's a lady in a bath of blood. The artwork looks pretty good, right? A little Mobius influence, a little heavy metal influence. Definitely got some weird futuristic science thing going on. This lady is like the digestive system. This lady is the circulatory system, and this lady is the skeletal system. Right? I'm just guessing here. Um, but it's not bad art. It's a lot of interesting camera angles. I'm kind of getting bored by this point of this standing around with these ladies talking, but I guess they're probably talking about. I mean, they're in some kind of world here, some MC Escher realm. You see with all the staircases, and then here we get to the flying sequence where they're flying in the air. So I don't know if this is like they're in an earthly plane versus another plane.
Yeah, I mean, to give it credit though, that it's not a criticism of no action. It definitely holds uh, a very excellent amount of drama. So, not every comic book has to be punching and kicking and fighting and car chases or something to create a mechanism of action. But this has such a well thought out depth. Like just
Yeah,
you flipping through in the layout alone,
yeah. No, this looks like
I would read this comic. I do not believe I would be disappointed. I mean, just that right hand page alone, in contrast to the left hand page, that's pretty. That's like excellent salesmanship. If that's what I flip through on a rack,
yeah.
I would say yeah. Give me this. Let me take this home.
Right. So I'm gonna take a guess here, and I'm going to imagine what I'm seeing here just based on the visuals alone. But um, this might have some similarity to the concept I was talking about for our Turbo timeline before, where there's this other plane where people are making decisions about what happens.
Oh yeah,
Because look,
right. The nether plane.
the nether plane. Because look, blue, you're a code blue, and what a blue it is. So now she's flying in this sky. This is like a pregnant chick, and she ends up giving birth, ends up being back on Earth. My bladder's gonna explode, and it relates to the human right? This so what the stuff that's going on. Oh, here, look, and then here she's code blue, in real life, right? So
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
so it's funny we were just talking about that because
Astral projection.
well, astral projection could be a lot of things, but on my nether plane, it's going to be the kind of like the formation of DNA, how DNA ends up where it is, the battles that take place behind the scenes. But I'm gonna also guess that this was a magazine format sized European publication that got brought over by Image and maybe shot down. Um, some of the formatting isn't exact here, but
Oh, it definitely was previously printed
yeah,
in
but
Europe.
interesting. A Carmen number 5 by Guy
Damn,
Mark.
that's number five. Damn.
Um,
Hmm.
and so this is how I find some interesting things with Image, and some of these things are lost along the way because if it's not superheroish and it's not sci-fi, it doesn't really jump out on the racks. It just gets lost.
Nope.
Oh, look what I got! I got Lighthouse number 5.
See if it's a
No,
similar.
no, the other one was number 4. Oh no, this is issue
Oh,
2. So this
oh, okay, okay.
so this
Can't
this
see the
one
bottom.
this one here was issue 4.
Okay.
So yeah, we're going backwards here in time, and I more of the same. I don't have to belabor. Uh,
Nope, nope.
good stuff. This is probably going to make an awesome graphic novel trade paperback at some point. Look at all this value here. You got the
Most
robo.
definitely is a trade paperback right now, and that's why they're moving them at this $10 for 10 or whatever you're getting for.
Right. Well, I don't know if it's collected yet, and and the single issues are just selling off the cheap rack. But I ended up paying about 59 cents a piece for these, not including tax. Um, so this is made in Korea, numbers number 3 and
No,
number
three,
5,
five.
and I don't know if this is like autobiographical. Let's see. Story Jeremy Holt, art George Shaw, and they don't go into any explainers. It's a little cartoony. There is some like of this kind of like hatching, directional hatching that adds a little bit of value to it. But this is kind of like, to me, this is like New Yorker cartoon art. Um, does the job. I see a lot of this nowadays. It's like simplified cartoony art, and I don't see this stuff for Image. I don't know why Image is doing this. I mean, they can do whatever they want.
Cash grab.
Yeah, for all I know, this is selling better than the other stuff. I don't know, but and there's definitely a story here. I don't know if this
Yeah,
stuff is like
yeah.
autobiographical or whatever. It's about a little kid. It goes on from here. This is number 3. This is number 5. Um, you know, it could be very meaningful to the person doing it, and maybe they
I would
find it
hope so.
brilliant. Just not my thing. I'm looking for a little more sci-fi action and a little more realism on the art. I'm not going to denigrate anybody. This is as good a style as any, but my complaint is that you have a printed page here. Why are you leaving things so sparse? For
Nah.
Christ's sake, you could just use AI to drop in a background of Tokyo or Korea or whatever. Um,
Yeah.
so let's move on from that. Speaking of Asia, we have the Good Asian number 2 with some mahjong imagery. This is let's see, 1936, and a generation of Chinese Americans have grown up under the Exclusion Act and immigration bans prohibiting scores of Chinese from entering America. After hearing a child begging Edison for help, O'Malley finds them hiding the body of a dead American, Chinatown's deadliest gangs. So this looks like maybe like a period piece here. I see a lot of standing around talking. And I mean a lot. There's, probably some intrigue here, but I'm not
And
getting
I
stuck
mean a
into
lot.
it. It's fine. Oh wait, hold on. Things take a turn here. Some guy gets slapped around, and then a bunch of little panels. And tonight's entertainment, we go. Oh, this is like a showgirls thing. All right, and then we're back to some of the talking around. I don't know. Okay, I'm just gonna take a pass on this. The Good Asian #2. Um, hello, what's this? Mom, Emilia Clarke, Marguerite Bennett, and Layla Lays. This is a little bit thicker. This is kind of like a perfect bound.
Isn't Amelia Clark the one who did? She was Daenerys Targaryen.
Oh, is that the name of Emilia Clarke?
Yeah, that's the actress.
Is that the same one?
I wouldn't surprise me because a lot of the young actors and actresses, of course, when you hit something big like Game of Thrones, your career kind of jettisons. But I hear the first thing that they do when they get that career jettisons is they set up a production company, and a part of that production company is to PR, Amelia Clark's name, but also kind of what she is grooming for maybe future projects. So she might even be putting this out as a comic book to sell to an option to get it made into a film or a short, whatever it is. So it's very, very popular. And I see it more and more with, like I said, younger actors and actresses that
Yeah, you
have a
called it.
spike on a show and everything, and it's pretty
You
damn cool. It's pretty damn
you
cool.
called
The
it. Now
cover has
I
me.
know I know Rashida Jones, has written comics, and of course Ta-Nehisi Coates has written comics. So there is some crossover between entertainment. We know Kevin Smith, of course, is.
Oh yeah, yeah,
But
that's reverse engineering.
So here we go. Game of Thrones superstar Emilia Clarke's debut. It's Mother of Madness. The
There you
mayhem
go.
begins with Maya, under the weather scientist by day, over the top superhero by night, and badass single mom 24/7. Deadpool action and Fleabag comedy collide when Maya activates her freakish superpowers to take on a secret sect of human traffickers. So
Whoa.
this is #2, and pretty interesting that it's a perfect bound comic.
What's the price on that?
Uh, it says $4.99 cover price.
Wow, for that thick guy.
Yeah, I mean it's not that thick for a perfect bound. This must be the minimum. We can count pages if you want. Looks like they got a good artist on it. So the artist is Layla Lays. Um, and it's a little hard opening this because of the perfect binding. So I'm
Yeah.
going to have to make a decision. Do I want to keep this as a reader copy or a collector copy? So I think I'm going
Crack that spine.
to crack that open here. I also want to point out that Emilia Clarke, if you look at her earlier movies, I saw her. She did kind of like this indie horror movie where she was kind of like this clairvoyant that goes into like a haunted. She works for like a kind of like a Scooby Doo organization that goes in and does like ghost busting and stuff. And that was a pretty good for a no budget, low budget movie. But the other big role that she had, which I was surprised, was she was like the lead female playing Sarah Connor in Terminator 4. And I missed that whole movie.
Wow. Me
Yeah,
too.
it was when Arnold is old, but he's also young in CGI, and
Yeah.
it was just another example of the Terminator franchise. But
Yeah.
Emilia Clarke was Sarah Connor, and she rescues the guy that comes back from time. I don't know, it's not John Connor because she had yeah. So John Connor's dad, and it just kind of like retells the story like for a fourth time or a third time. Good action, a lot of kind of like improbable stunts, good CGI, good bad guys. So I would recommend that the Terminator movie with Emilia Clarke in it. And so she definitely moved up from the low budget horror movie. This is an interesting read right here. So let's table this right, and
I agree. I agree.
Yeah, I like the style. The art style reminds me of Daniel Warren Johnston, doesn't it? A little bit, a
Yeah.
little scratchy.
Everything you're showing me, I do have this tendency to categorize it as American manga isms.
Yeah,
Eyes get a bit bigger, noses are diminished, heads are very doll shape,
well,
and then characterization, and then that, I think the reason, Daniel is really good at playing with the borders and
yeah,
moving the whole page as an entire concept visually than just block the block the block the block the block. So, and that's, once again, we talk about that all the time, is, if you're selling mainstream comics or you want to be mainstream, your competition is Japan, an
yeah.
entire country with 500 years worth of manga
Among
to
everybody
compete
else.
with.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? And you can get a book for $10 that's like 300 pages. Unfortunately, black and white, people, but
yeah.
incredible visuals, storytelling, and soon to be animation.
I guess, yeah. So there's some interesting credits here. So it's written and created by Emilia Clarke and Marguerite Bennett. That and people should probably look that name up because if she's in comics, then she might be the or she might be the ghost, but um, she also could. Who knows? Maybe she's more showbiz, and maybe she's also coming into comics. Layla Liz
She
gets
is a American. Her thing says American comic book writer. 36 years old. Um,
okay.
yeah, I'm not going to go too deep into
Yeah,
it, but
she's probably just turnkeying the ideas, with the big.
she's got some of the notable works is DC Comics, Bombshells, Batwoman, Angela, Josie and the Pussycats.
Oh wow, yeah,
She's a young one that is paving her way through, and I say
dialed in,
double thumbs up, yeah, and
dialed in.
yeah,
So
Jake, definitely put that on you. We got to talk more about it.
yeah,
Got to talk more
so
about
I
this.
also see a
Pretty
credit
exciting.
here. So Layla Lees or Lies is the artist, and
Louise.
it's Layla Lies, Leiz.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
so kudos to her on this job. The
I
color
think that's an entire female creative team there.
looks like it, yeah. Triona Farrell. And the color, I don't know if the coloring is taking on these like halftone dots. I don't know if that's the job of the colorist nowadays. I imagine it is, but there's a lot of these halftone dots in here. I don't mind it so bad. Sometimes I really mind it, but sometimes it's used artfully. And then there's a weird kind of credit here: principal contributor and producer Isabel Richardson. What is that? That sounds like a money person.
Well,
Principal
you need that.
contributor. Um,
You need the money.
right. And so then logo, cover, and costume design Joe Ratcliffe. That's a comic name, I know. And interesting, very interesting stuff. 4 variant covers. And Mother of Madness. I guess the thing to do is get this signed by Amelia, if you can find
Right
her.
there in the center. See that spot they left you?
Exactly right there.
Silver pen. Bring your own silver pen, Jake.
But you know what? But if you look carefully, look what I did to the spine. So folks, don't perfect bind unless it's a really thick book, because this one didn't hold up to the to cracking it open. I had to make this a reader copy. All right, moving on. We have Decorum by Hickman and Huddleston. And I got a lot of image in this stack. Hopefully my next stack isn't going to be so much image. But oh my god, look at all these pages we're going through here.
Wow.
Well, it is a thick book, but it does. It looks like it's thick because of padding. Um, so we get down to the art. Oh, this doesn't even look. This doesn't even have the artist yet. This is just the image team. So this comes out March 2020. Jonathan Hickman words and Mike Huddleston art. Russ Wooten letters. And can we finally get into some comics here? Oh wow, look at this painted art. Interesting. So wow, this is an impressive painted style, but then it gets a little bit
I
gray.
think you have this already.
Do I?
I think so.
What?
Yes. You're gonna have to do a little digging. I'm getting flashbacks.
Not me.
Yeah, I think you. It looks
Well, this is
familiar.
really weird. They're kind of genre jumping here. Because look, you
You
start
said the
out
same thing. You said the same thing. I'm
paint.
getting deja vu in the most wickedest way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, so yeah, and this reminds me of that scene right out of Apocalypto, the last scene of Apocalypto. Um, it says here the preserves are an artifact of the 10,000-year plan to mitigate the effects of mass expansion during the golden age of the old solar empire. The forced acquisition of Goldilocks planets resulted in the indigenous creatures of any claimed world being initially preserved on world in their natural habitat. This containment method failed, etc., etc., etc. So I don't know what we're doing here. This is some kind of mystical thing. We got the conquistador guy. We have the native guy. They're
Conquistador.
shooting laser beams. There's a lot going on. We're mixing and matching. I got distracted by mixing and matching the art styles here. I don't know if this works for other people, but to me, it's very schizophrenic. I would rather just pick a lane, but I guess this is part of the cachet here is that no, we're going to mix and match art styles. We're going to get into this primitive cubist style here, and then we're going to Photoshop in some planets, and I don't know, man. It's a lot. Galactic sectors, pyramid locations. Here we're getting some maps here. They way thought this out. The locations of all the pyramids and a lot of wasted paper here. And then we're back to the artwork. The artwork's not bad, not at all, but
It's fun.
yeah, I don't know. This is just coming at me. It's kind of weird. The art's pretty good. I just, you know what? If I was editing this project, I would say let's not mix and match these styles. Maybe break it up into anthologies so that there's 8 pages of the color, 8 pages of the black and white. But
You create more separation.
I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I mean, there's a great artist at work here. This artist Huddleston, right? Just amazing art. But it's very high concept, and so far I haven't gotten over it. This is issue 1, and they're introducing this concept. 1 minute they're on the planet with the conquistadors. Now we're here in this black and white realm, and there's one guy's color. She's waving things around. She's got magic diamonds. I don't know. So I see. I don't know. This could have been handled a little bit differently to my taste, but I don't know. Who am I to say? I mean, I wish there was a way to look up sales. Don't you wish there was like an image sales lookup app?
It's probably something somewhere.
I mean, I think the only thing we have on the outside, no, I imagine that those are very highly guarded secrets. How much did something sell?
Really? I don't know.
But outwardly, what we could tell is, well, how many issues did they make? Did they continue the series? Right? Is it like,
Right, right,
is it one and done? Is it two and out? Is it three and done?
right.
There's a lot going on here. I don't know. I just, it hit me weird. So I don't want to, I don't want to give it my highest grade for like sucking me
It
in.
would be interesting to take a deeper dive on it. I might, and some of these deeper dives, if we plan it properly, is I could get a copy of it and we could both
Yeah.
spend some time on our own, and kind of really look at, what is being done in, modern
Well,
YA
I'll
audience
say this.
driven.
I'll say this. They really set up. Think about this for a second. Now. They set this up like I said. Oh, there's a whole bunch of wasted pages here. They set this up for like kind of like a gallery feel with all this like
Oh
open white
yeah. Oh yeah.
space and like these little
Yeah.
titles. We're just going to
Slick.
ease you into it, right? And then we have this thing where you're just like looking in on this scene, which reminds you of the opening of a movie. So there is this little explanation here. It gives you a little bit of a clue of what you're about to see in this next sequence, but then I don't know. It's kind of like, I mean, there's no dialogue in English until we get to like here, and then there's all these weird beings, and you're just like, okay, are these beings like part of a story, or is this just like the thing that the artist likes to draw? Here we get some explanations. They show some maps, and then they show here's some explanations. So I don't know. I'm not giving it a good or a bad. I just I'm giving it kind of like kind of knocked me sideways. That's all. And finally, so we won't do this other stack. By the way, this was supposed to be the 18 plus pack. I don't know why. There was one comic that had some nudity. The this Carmen comic had some nudity, so big deal, big whoop. The other stuff was like kid comics. This one had some light nudity. Um, and this and here's issue 4 of Made in Korea. So they were really kind of blowing out these Made in Koreas here. I got 3 of this pack was Made in Korea, and again, this is this kind of cartoony, kind of sparse storytelling style. And look, this reminds. Oh no, look, is he a robot underneath the skin? Oh boy. So
Tetsuo.
yeah. Oh wow, and look in the back, it's like even more cartoony. Next, proxy stories. So yeah, whatever. I don't love this Made in Korea stuff. They gave me, you know, they 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 give you they shouldn't give you 3 of one thing if they're giving away 10 comics. Come on. So um, let's review. Very okay, because I was slightly disappointed on this one, but there's some good stuff. Very high grades for Carmen, Guy, and March. I would like to look more into this. Decorum by Hickman and Huddleston. Kind of confusing. Very, very amazing art, but kind of confusing. Mom. Very, very high grades for Emilia Clarke, the actress slash comic concept person, scripter. So that was interesting. And the Good Asian, take a pass on that one. We have these 3 Made in Koreas. Take a pass on that one. Um, the Lighthouse, issues 2 and 4, really good, really interesting. Good sci-fi treatment of a Jules Verne classic, which I'm sure is public domain. So uh, I'm into it. Maybe I'll try to pick up the other ones if I can find them in the cheap bins and make the series and then sit down and actually read it from the beginning. If not, then what I'm definitely going to do is look up the B movie that Kurt found on Google, and I'm going to put these Made in Koreas where they belong together. And this vinyl, I didn't love. Really, really gory, but also really, really kind of like plain. And here they're doing some process here in the back, which I don't know if we need, but I guess vinyl number 1, vinyl number 2, and on sale now at 12gaugecomic.com. So Image Comics putting out a lot of stuff, a lot of hits and misses with Image Comics, but we live for the hits, so we'll put up with some misses. Anyway, that is my report, and
Nice.
a lot more information than we had before. And the next time we do an episode, which I suppose will be next week, I'll do the second part of the stack. This is all we're going to show is this cover and this cover, but that's going to be the second part of the stack next week. So,
all right. Well, with that being said, thank you for staying with us. If you made it this far, we do try to make these bite size, around 45 minutes. But when we get in deep and we've got discussion going, then we hope that's keeping you engaged. Jake and I will be at IC3 March 15th, 2025. We're hoping to see a lot of the people that come along and join us for the rides that we put here on our Turbo Pitfighter channel on YouTube. And we have our Turbo teaser right now. We're working on the third Turbo teaser, which is the next 6 pages and a whole bunch of really great goodness, which we're probably going to end up being an anthology. But at this point, this is in 2 forms now. You can get a printed form for $3, and you could get a digital download PDF for $3. There's nothing stopping anybody now to get access to actually seeing firsthand what the hell we're doing. And whether you actually enjoy it, if it's your cup of tea. But that's all I got, Jake. Let these people get back to reading comics, making them if they choose. What do you got on the out?
On the outs, just check out our other channels. We got Making Turbo Pitfighter. Tune in and watch us draw and ink side by side and split screen the pages of Turbo Pitfighter. Even though we took kind of a detour to work on our Chromita 2-pager, this is the usual progress that we make. Pages and pages and pages that look like this and this and this and this. And we are working our way through. And also check out our Indie Creator Exchange, where we do fascinating interviews. Our last interview being Jan Stranad, which is posted on our Do Mag Substack and are also in our Comics to Influence stream. So see you guys out on YouTube. That's the main place to catch Making Turbo Pitfighter, and Do Mags on Substack. See you later, everyone.
See you next Sunday, Jake.
Yep.